Everyone who has millions started from zero, from this to that, from nothing to everything. As a divine healer, let me show you the blueprint to heal your deepest wounds, step into your destiny, and become the happiest person you know. My name is Steph Mahony, and welcome to your $1 Million Life Podcast. Hello, everybody. Welcome to your $1 Million Life Podcast. My name is Steph Mahony. Today's topic is you're perfect for what you've been chosen to do. What you may not realize is that the universe and its exact precision has charted your incarnation to be at this very moment. And the moment you were born into this world, it cemented your blueprint, your purpose, your sacred Dharma into the astrology of the stars. And without you fulfilling your purpose, you would leave a cosmic void in this universe. And that is how important you are. And by fulfilling your purpose, you're fulfilling your sacred Dharma and rising up to the 2.0 version of your best self, your highest potential, and fulfilling everything it is that you charted to experience in this world. Why is this important? What does this even mean to you? Without fulfilling your purpose, becomes a deep and heavy void that lives in your heart. This is the cause of depression, anxiety, unhappiness that circulates in our society, but we just don't have words for. When we're not in alignment to what we're supposed to do, we feel that there's no calling in our life, and we wake up every day and it's Groundhog Day, where we waste time and we end up miscreating based on the lower level thoughts that we allow into our mind. And this downward spirals us into a place of deep depression, rock bottom, victimhood. And this is the state we no longer want to be. But the moment you hit a rock bottom is the moment you rise back up. Divinity knows your blueprint. Divinity knows your charted purpose of what you have been assigned to do in this world. And guess what? You know it too. Although we've gone through the veil of amnesia and we don't remember it with our mind, it actually lives in our heart. And this is the inner compass that only points north. And north is towards your North Star, your destiny, and towards the fulfillment of you achieving and fulfilling your purpose. So today I'm going to talk to you about how you are perfect for what you've been chosen to do, because you are the creator of it all. God created you, but you created the opportunity to come into this world. You created the opportunity to be, grow, expand, and experience for the purpose of your soul's evolution. And that's what this is all about. All of our souls have a deep desire to grow, expand, create, fulfill, and have a self-fulfillment, which is what we are charting to do. And for each of us, this looks very different. And what you're going to learn in the realm of divinity is that there is no right or wrong, good or bad. There's no better than or less than. Each of our purposes are actually very, very sacred, all of them. The purpose of a CEO for a Fortune 500 company is the same importance of a mother raising her children. There is no better than or less than. But what's actually more important to divinity is your ulterior or your internal motives, your pure motives of why you do what you do. Because when your motives are impure, but you're showing the world a different face, then you're actually attracting and creating karma that is inwardly down spiraling you. And eventually the tower is going to fall on your life. But when you're living life authentic and doing what you have with what you know, and doing it with a pure heart and pure motives, divinity will stream divine consciousness, will stream divine energy into your path, which is overflowing, and will allow you to live in the flow of abundance. So let's talk about purpose for a moment again. I told you that the purpose of a CEO is the same importance as the purpose of a mother. Each of them are perfect for what they've been chosen to do. The problem that we face is that when we cross out of our life stream into somebody else's purpose for the sake of money, for the sake of living somebody else's dream for us, for the sake of more power, more prestige, for the sake of doing something to make somebody else happy or scared to disappoint them. So if my purpose is to be a Fortune 500 company CEO, I'm going to be very well adapted and equipped, and I'm going to have all of the gifts already within me that are going to actually grow and expand and sharpen as I grow into the person I am meant to be. So in that place of readiness, when I'm ready to take on that role, I would be very successful because I am now in alignment to what I'm supposed to do. I am ready because I have all of my talents sharpened for the purpose and task in front of me. And I also have this internal fire, an internal desire that drives me to go forward. But if for any reason I'm supposed to do this, and this is what is charted for me, but then I pivot and I end up staying home with my children because of guilt, because of this is what society tells me to do, because this is what my spouse wants me to do, whatever the reason is, if I pivot out of what I know I'm supposed to do, then I would not be successful in my own path. I would be home, feel unpresent, feel unmotivated, begin to feel resentful. And this would create anger, it would create anxiety, it would create depression, and I wouldn't be fulfilling the present role of me being an active, loving, efficient, wonderful mother for my children, because that's not what I've been charted to do. And I don't have perhaps that inner patience and tenacity and everything that goes with running the internal ship of a job that's actually 24 hours and probably a lot more stressful than being a CEO. So if I pivoted into that place of wanting to be a mother, I wouldn't be happy. And the same thing would be true for a person who just desired to raise her children and be a homemaker and grow and expand and cultivate a beautiful culture and garden and become homestead and learn how to do jarring and bake fresh biscuits. And this is stuff that really inspires people. And I love it. And this is the stuff I watch all the time on Instagram because a part of me, I really love that type of life. But I know personally that's not for me either. But if I was that mother and this is what I've chosen to do, and this is what self-motivates me, but I pivoted and I went into this role that required me to be in the office or to be a CEO or to do anything outside of my purpose, I would be very resentful. I'd be very unmotivated. I'd be very angry. It's the same emotions I would feel. So what I'm trying to say is that you are perfect for what you've been chosen to do. And your guiding light, your inner compass will always show you what that is as your highest truth, as your inner voice, because that's going to show up to you in the form of happiness, in the form of passion, in the form of interest, in the form of looking and reading and researching and living in a present moment that you could do forever and feel like you're not even hours are going by, but you don't even feel it. This is the place of alignment where you don't need anything to motivate you because your inner strength, your inner enthusiasm is so strong that it pushes you forward. And the thing is that we know internally what it is that we've charted to do, but the outside world, society, or family, or spouse, our parents might not understand. And that is something we need to learn is okay, and that there's still great people, but God didn't whisper the dream to them. We were only shown the dream to us within our inner knowing, within our soul, and with our inner truth of what actually makes us happy. We live in this world of a lot of really unhealed people and a lot of unhappy people who didn't go for it, who didn't go and fulfill their purpose or go after their dream or fulfill their destiny. And they're living this place of resent and they're very wounded. And they can't understand why you are going for it. And they look at this from a place of, who does she think she is? I never knew you to be this way. Why would you do this? You should go the safer path. This place makes more money. It's more job security. And the truth is that they can only see your life through the vision of how they see themselves. So if you scooch in for a second, I'm going to tell you a story. And this is what it really brought home for me. Jim Carrey had this Instagram reel that came out on Instagram, I don't know, a couple of years ago. And it really shifted my perspective to truly understand this. And that's my intention for you. And what he said is that he had a father who was this magnificent comedian. So funny, funnier than he will ever be. He had so much potential. But when he had his children, he decided that there was no money into being a comedian. So he took the safer route and decided that he was going to become an accountant, a 9-to-5 accountant. Less money, it sucked the life out of him, but he did what he knew at that time to be the best thing for his family. And what eventually ended up happening is that he ended up getting fired from his very safe job. And what this showed Jim Carrey at a very young age was that there is risk in everything, even risk in that very safe pathway that you perceive to be yours, that you perceive to be the best thing for you and your family, even though your intentions are really good about it. So what he thought is that if there's risk anyway, why not go for it all? Why not dream big and go for it all? And he took a chance. He took a chance at becoming a stand-up comedian. And at first he was horrible and it was very uncomfortable, but he went after it. And in those early years, he cultivated his act by hearing his inner voice, by speaking his voice, by speaking his truth, by living his truth. And then he began to step into the rhythm of who he actually is. And that landed a higher belief to step into higher roles, which continued to expand outwardly. So what I'm here to tell you and to remind myself is that we are here to fulfill a really special purpose. One that, as long as we're on the pathway to achieving, will fulfill us with so much happiness and inner gratitude, enthusiasm, excitement. And when we become happy, that spreads outward like a popcorn effect to everybody around us. We become happier people, a happier spouse, a happier mother, a happier coworker. And through this place of genuine happiness, we begin to show people the pathway and inspire them of what's possible. Because we can never change anybody, but we can inspire everyone. And when you can understand that we're not meant to fix a broken world, we're not meant to fix broken people or broken situations, that we're meant to live our best life, and that comes through fulfilling our purpose, then you realize that happiness is cultivated from within, that you can have hard situations come to you, but you learn that they're stepping stones to something greater, that you can take a look at the challenges, you could take a look at all of the obstacles and learn that you can actually transform them, extract the wisdom, because then when you try it again, you're not starting from the bottom, you're starting up. And every single obstacle is like a notch higher. And what divinity showed me is that all of the obstacles in our path are not meant to break us down, but they're meant to propel us higher, because what it looks like is like a bow and arrow, and the degree that they pull you back is the degree you propel forward. And that shows up as ascension. That propel forward is upwards towards your North Star. And it feels like abundance. It feels like happiness. It feels like new beginnings. It feels like excitement. And all of those things are in alignment to when you are actually fulfilling what you're meant to do. But here's the thing, as we go on this journey, if you want to step through the gates of your destiny and truly experience it all, you're going to have to learn to let a few things go, like anger, bitterness, and unforgiveness, because this is the spiky energy that we hold within us that keeps us back from getting to this higher level. And this is what comes in the forms of tests. So divinity and the universe, with its precision of knowing who you are, where you're going, will always give you tests in this journey upwards. And these tests are not meant to break you, but they're meant to squeeze you of greatness so that you can produce excellence. When it squeezes you, the test is what comes out of you. Because we all show the world a beautiful, happy smile on Instagram. But when we're tested to our inner wounds, and we're tested when we're tired, when things aren't going away, when someone else got the other job, when our house is a mess, we're living in chaos, when we're tested at our raw inner state, that is who we truly are. And what comes out of it? Does a green, scary monster come out with rage and anger? Or do we learn to cultivate patience, and does love and patience come out? Either of those responses are always us. And it's not that we're bad people when the green scary monster comes. It means that there's a part of us that needs to be healed. And as we go through this journey of going for it all and achieving God-sized dreams, or any dream that you have in your heart, will always be tested. And the path will always lead us upwards. We can't go wrong. All paths will lead to Rome. God is eternal. You can't miss him. But the only thing that we can control, and it is up to us, is through our free will and how fast we choose to get here. The frequency, the speed of getting to where we're meant to go is all up to us. It's our resistance of change, our resistance of healing, our resistance of facing our fears, our resistance of healing those deeper wounds and looking at our shadows and looking at that part of us that we try to ignore. So on this journey together, me and you, I'm going to show you as a divine healer how to go into these deeper wounds, not because we're bad people, not from a place of judgment, because all of us have these places. But these deeper wounds are the places that once we heal, it will propel us into new places. And that circle of us having to relive experiences of constant anger or people who trigger us when certain things happen, all of that will be healed, and we'll learn to rise above it, show the world our best self, and become that 2.0 version of us, so that we're not perceived to be happy at the end of the day when we go to sleep, but we're authentically happy because we're living our purpose. We go to bed with genuine happiness, and we become this bright light that makes everybody around us feel like sunshine. This is what your $1 million life is all about. So what I want to show you is a glimpse of your $1 million life, the blueprint to your $1 million life, this program that I created. And it's really interesting because it was a program that was channeled by divinity. And when I channeled this program, they showed me all of our life streams, our sacred life stream, not of just this life, not of our future, or not of our past, but everything, how we're all connected. And that our purpose is so important, and that we're meant to show through this program an acceleration to help people get into alignment. So I hired this master astrologist to show what your purpose is in this world, where you are at the present moment, but also your South Star, your past, and who you were in past lives. And throughout this podcast, I'm going to be diving into different sections of this astrology report to show you what's possible for you through this program. But in this example, I just want to share with you my example. And this is going to be an example that Tracy Van Fleet had created in the astrology for the blueprint to your $1 million life. This is the blueprint to your soul's evolution. And what this shows was what my life was in the 1800s, the 1900s. But today what we're going to look at is what my life is at the present incarnation, where I'm meant to go in the future, my destiny, my North Star, and alignment. So it's really interesting because this has been done a year ago. And it was at a time where I literally knew nothing. All of this was brand new. And Tracy, being this magnificent, gifted healer, she's not only this astrologist, but she has this ability to actually step into a person's soul and perceive everything. So she saw my life as she would all of my students, my program, but she saw where I was at this moment. She saw me in the future, and she also saw me in the past. And she was able to carve out an example, an illustration of what these moments look like. And it was all for the purpose, not of like juicy secrets of like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? But it was to identify the areas of my life that I still need to heal. And it is to also put me into alignment to ensure that I am fulfilling my charted purpose. So let me just share the screen with you, and we're going to dive in together. All right, friends. So here we go. I think we can see this together. There we go. All right. So here is the blueprint to your $1 million life. And what I want to show you is this. It talks about, this is my present day karma. And let me just go through this together with you. And for those who are not watching on YouTube, I'm just going to read this out so we're all kind of on the same page. Here's my present incarnation. So it talks about my current life. So each of the lifetimes talk about a main karma that is unresolved that we have to deal with. All of our karma is shown to us. This is the main karma. And in this lifetime, for me, it's disbelief. And when I read this, I couldn't believe that it was disbelief, which is really funny. The thing with disbelief is that everything you believe is always true for you. And I can have God-sized dreams in the past, but I never believed that I was actually worthy or capable to achieve them. So I never would go for it. And I would live on the sidelines of life, feeling broken and unhappy, wondering why everyone's living their best life. But meanwhile, I had this disbelief that it was impossible for me. So this is something in my life that I need to heal and overcome. And this is the process of what I'm doing right now by choosing to believe and go for it anyway. So people think like, wow, Steph, like this seems so easy for you. But I have to tell you, it's very conscious, and all of my efforts, my thoughts, my words, my actions are very aligned purposefully, because if I don't stand guard, I would quickly downward spiral to this place where I feel unworthy and I get pivoted into the wrong direction. So this is back in 2003, the year of 2003. She was saying that my North Star was Cancer, my South Star was Capricorn. That's a conversation another day, and perhaps Tracy can talk about that. What she says is this: your present life looks like this. Your destiny is linked with easing other people's suffering, possibly after facing a painful situation in your own life. This situation alters your thinking profoundly or changes the course of your life. You may be a skilled healer or a wise teacher, which was really interesting because this is the information I received many years ago. So when I look at this specifically, my destiny is linked with easing other people's suffering because of a painful situation in my own life. This is where my journey all started, because I was in a toxic relationship for 3 years in my earlier days. And, now looking back, I think we're all really great people and we're just really trying to find ourselves. But this was a really unhealthy relationship where I lost everything. I lost myself. I lost my voice. I lost my passions. I conformed to everything this person wanted. It was narcissistic. I was crying all day. I lost my best friend, all of my friends. I was literally starting from nothing when I had the courage to finally leave. And when I had the courage to leave, I thought it would be better. And that's when the tower fell in my life, and I downward spiraled into new states of depression because I was literally all alone. And that's when I was ready to give up on it all. But it was at that moment when I was finally ready to throw in the towel of my own life is when an inner light appeared. And this inner light began to show me a pathway of how to untangle the mess I was in and how to heal the deepest wounds of my soul and all the pain I was experiencing, and transform it into genuine love and fulfillment and nourishing relationships. And this is what my inner strength and my inner compass began to be. So it was at this moment that my whole life changed and pivoted into a new direction. And this is what this report is saying, which is really interesting because Tracy had no idea about any of this. And she's so accurate that a lot of, friends or people I know, they're like, what did you tell her about my life? And I was like, nothing. Like, she knows. And that's because all of this was charted in my experience. In your experience, all of these really painful situations are with merit because it changes the trajectory of what your life looks like to pivot you and grow you into the person you're meant to be. Because the truth is, if my life was very comfortable, if I had amazing friends and a stable relationship, and I didn't go through so much trauma at such a young age, I'd be living life very comfortably, and I'd actually have no desire to do anything different because my life was very comfortable. There was no reason to grow if I had everything already within or around me. But because I had to experience those deepest, darkest, the full gamut of pain, it created a new level of compassion, which is what is driving me forward to show other people the pathway of acceleration so that they don't have to experience this, that they know that there is another option. of how they can rise above the ashes and not smell like smoke. So continuing on my current incarnation, it says the main issues I'm dealing with is of disbelief is demonstrated by not believing I have the ability to heal and transform lives. It says you are a powerful leader that will change the world. And this is something that's that feels very deep, because this is something that, again, I was told, a few years ago through meditation and through disbelief. I'm like, no, like, who am I? And what I was responding with is why not you? And if not now, when? And I remember having a baby unexpectedly, and I was in such deep states of pain. I had cystic acne, and my body was broken. My spirit was broken. All my dreams were broken. And all of these coaching clients that I had been working on, everything was put on hold or canceled. And I just remember, I'm like, I can't even get out of the bed and go pee or make myself a sandwich. Like, how am I going to go change the world? And I was like, oh my gosh, like I needed to like move in with my parents at that time and have my parents take care of me. My mom died on me because I couldn't even move my body. And when I was hearing these messages of Stephanie, you're going to change the world, I'm like, I think you have the wrong girl. And I kept crying to them. I'm like, guys, I think you have the wrong girl. Hence, this is the karma of disbelief, right? And Gabby Bernstein is one of like my spiritual besties that she doesn't even know. And I just loved her from the moment I met her in my mind. And she was this role model for me as I was stepping into this new path of spirituality. And I remember, closing my eyes and telling divinity while I was crying, like ugly crying. I'm like, guys, just look for Gabby Bernstein. She'll help you. She'll help you. Just go find her. She has a lot of people who follow her. She's amazing. You're going to love her. And I really had no idea that, being in the broken state that I had anything left within me. So hence this disbelief, it does keep coming back. But through healing, it's pushed me through these limiting thoughts that I could feel that, but rise above it and do it anyway. So it's really important to know that any type of karma that we're talking about is something that can be healed. And when you heal it, you can close the looping pattern in your timeline, and you can know that you've healed when you look back at this pain. You can laugh at it, or you see it as a memory, or you can extract the wisdom, but it's something that you need to really feel ready for. But now I just want to quickly just jump you to my North Star. This is your destiny. This is what I'm talking to you about. And this is available again on the astrology report that's available through my program, The Blueprint to Your $1 Million Life. So it says that the North Star, your destiny, your life's purpose in this lifetime is to use your healing and transforming abilities to be of service to others. With your healing and psychic abilities, you will be great in leadership roles, transforming people on a deeper level. You're meant to do teaching, writing, publishing, or anything that has to do with communications. This would show up in your life as having your own business, being an agent of change, empowering, transforming, and healing others, leading others to a life of empowerment. To get here, you should focus on your psychic intuitive abilities. What's also important to note is that you are the powerful creator of your own reality, which means receiving the fullness of your destiny is in your hands. The blueprint laid out for you is merely a guide and not absolute because of your inherent power of free will to do or not do. The only time you can exercise free will is in the present moment, not 30 seconds ago or 30 lifetimes ago, right now. So let's just stop sharing that, and I'm going to come right back here. All right. So this is a snapshot of who I am and where I'm going. And the story is being written as I live my life through the choices I make that are reflected in the habits that I have. And this is why I'm so passionate to show this to the world, because all of us have a story. All of us have a purpose, and all of our purposes are very unique, divine, and important, because as I mentioned, without you fulfilling your purpose, you would leave a cosmic void into this world, and you would actually have to come back in your next lifetime to fulfill it. But that purpose would become magnified, or the wounds would become so magnified that you're forced to make changes that pivot you into the direction so you can fulfill your purpose. So this is what my call to action is for you, is to look inside of your heart, close your eyes, and just feel your heart beating, and just live in this present moment, and just ask divinity, who am I and where am I going? Because whenever you ask, you shall receive. Divinity wants to help you. It's holding the roadmap for you. That roadmap lives in your heart, and they can help pivot you into the right direction to help you acquire this knowledge. And it could be drops of insight. And for me, many years ago, it started actually about 10 years ago, where they dropped this vision in my mind of me standing on stage like this in a large crowd, a huge auditorium. And I was so confident and proud. And it was like, oh, and I felt so comfortable. And it really made me question why I kept seeing this, because first of all, I didn't know I had vision. I didn't know I had gifts, but I didn't even know I was there. I'm like, this is not even part of my job description. Like, what is this? But when you are being aligned to your calling, divinity will start to drop visions. They'll start to drop nudges, and they'll always push you into the path of where you're meant to go. If you keep avoiding it, they will, the tower will fall in your life so that you're forced to move into the right direction. But when you can see that it's not meant because you're a bad person, but because they love you, then you'll be like, okay, yes, thank you. Thank you. And you realize that the only prayer you need in this world is thank you. Thank you for always having my highest good. Thank you for pivoting me in the right direction. And if you don't even know what you want, I always just say like this or better. Like I have no idea where I want, but I just really choose to be happy, or I love my life. I'm so happy. But if there's something better, this or better, this or better. And this gives them the ability to expand your consciousness, to expand your possibility of belief of what's possible for you. And baby step by baby step by baby step, you're going to get there by following the breadcrumbs that are going to open up portals for you to discover your higher purpose. And you'll realize it's usually a dream behind a dream behind a dream behind a dream. But all of that's leading you somewhere. And it's not anywhere, it's up here. So I hope this inspires you, that you are so magnificent, that you're perfect for what you've been chosen to do. And stop waiting. Begin now. Start messy, start imperfect, and start before you're ready, because the world needs you. Thank you, everybody. I love you. Have a wonderful day. Namaste.
Thank you for listening to today's podcast. If you are ready to heal your deepest wounds and manifest your greatest life, I welcome you to explore the blueprint to your $1 million life, the divinely channeled program that is creating miracles for people all over the world. Visit www.stephmahony.com.